What's up, guys? Welcome to Box to Box Football. Now, I want to talk about our old friend Harry Maguire. Now, he's not my friend. I just said that for no apparent reason. But the world's most expensive defender, yes, guys, the world's most expensive defender, Harry Maguire, has been going through a tough time lately with England and Manchester United, especially when Manchester United lost 6-1 to Tottenham and he got sent off the other day for England. He's getting questioned and not. But my thing about it is that are we being unfair to Harry Maguire at this moment in time? But Jack, do you want to take this away first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so I think if you're playing in a back four, it's a centre-back partnership. Now, some players are good enough where they can just kind of boss it themselves. And this isn't a slight on somebody like Joe Gomez, but I think you could have anybody playing next to Virgil van Dijk and there'd be a pretty strong defensive partnership there. That said, we're not talking about a Virgil van Dijk calibre of centre-back. We're talking about overhyped and overvalued, overpaid for centre-back in Harry Maguire, but he hasn't had the support there. Over the last few months as well, goalkeeper hasn't been so good either. There hasn't really been a consistent lineup at Manchester United. So do I think it's his fault? No. James, you're probably sick of me saying this. Harry Maguire did not say to Manchester United, hey, you guys need to pay 80 million for me. That's between Manchester United and Leicester. The player does not decide that. However, when you are the most expensive defender in the world, there does come certain expectations. And I think the rumours of Manchester United in the transfer market potentially looking for a centre-back this past summer, they don't come from a standpoint of, oh, we're really happy with where things are going with Harry and Lindelof, or Harry and Bailly, or whoever. Unfairly treated, maybe. He has my sympathy.
The reason why I say unfairly treated, because I thought about it lately, and I sat there and I realised that Harry Maguire has been playing football for 10 years now. He's been playing professional football for over 10 years. Majority of time of his professional career has been in League One or in the Championship. We're not asking a player to come in who has played in League One and Championship for the majority of his career and now be the best defender in the world. I think it's unrealistic, and it comes to the point of view of English media in hyping up their players to the point of view that they're the best in the world. There is no reason for Harry Maguire to be labelled as the most expensive player, the most expensive defender of all time, but he is. You know, I just feel personally that he's getting criticised for something he's not. He's not going to be a Virgil van Dijk. He's not going to be a Sergio Ramos. We're making him out to bigger than what he actually is.
I agree with you, but unfortunately, if you have that price tag, and we agree, it's not his fault. That's up to Manchester United. Great deal for Leicester, bad deal for Manchester United, you'd probably say. As far as I'm concerned, he was brought in to Manchester United to lead that. Remember the narrative of the culture change like 12 months ago? I think he was a real spearhead of that. And this is a guy coming in who, English lad, a leader, has shown that at Leicester City. They were trying to create that spine. Pundits often talk about, so De Gea, Maguire, Pogba, and Rashford, or Martial, whoever. You've got that spine. So I don't think he was bought to be this terrific defender, but he did need to do enough to get by. And at the moment, he's not doing enough to get by. So criticism is unfair. I agree with you. But I will say that, unfortunately, things out of his control, it is somewhat fair to criticise him. Do you see what I mean?
I feel like he's going to fall into the category of the John Stones. You remember the hype train on John Stones. Wow. He's an English centre-back that can play out from the back. Look at his ability. He's going to join Pep Guardiola. Guardiola's going to turn into Gerard Piqué. He's just not that. I genuinely think Harry Maguire is a good defender. I think he has ability to be a top 10 to top 5 defender in the league. I don't think he's no more than that. Exactly. For me, in the league, he's not a spring chicken. He's 27 years old. He's at his prime right now. He's at his peak. We're expecting this guy. I'm guessing when Manchester United bought him. I'm not sure if they bought him for the future or now, because he's 27 years of age. The next 3 to 4 years is like going to be his peak. I can't see him turning into a Nemanja Vidic. I can't see him turning into a Rio Ferdinand.
But James, so I wonder if that's part of the problem. So if you're a Manchester United fan, there's a certain level of well, I'm used to having like, I don't know, Veron and Vidic and Ferdinand and Yap Stam and, you know, all these kind of legendary top tier defenders. And I wonder if there's a certain level of, well, it's not what we're used to, and it's hard for us because we're used to having what would have been considered the best at a point, you know. I will say though that we are in a space now where, James, I don't know about you, I'd take Connor Cody starting for England over somebody like Harry Maguire. Personally, I think he's a better player. I think he provides more. He's a better character for me, probably more passionate and patriotic for the England shirt. And I think that just says it all to me. You were hoping that, or Manchester United were hoping that Maguire would take those next steps and he would be seen as this dominant top 10 in the world, perhaps, centre-back, but he hasn't taken those steps. So like you say, he's having to work really hard now to be top 5 or even top 10 in the league, let alone the world. And for an £18 million price tag, unfortunately, the expectation will be there. It's out of his control, but the expectation does exist.
But I also look at players like Lindelof, for instance, and I think, again, I'm not saying he's great, but I feel like he's always been made to be a scapegoat to protect Harry Maguire in a way where there should be time for me. You talk about defenders and like the ability to defend. For me, they're both on the same level. The only difference is one is English, the other one is from Switzerland, like wherever they want to call it. People are calling for, Lindelof needs to be taken out and they need someone better to be like Harry Maguire. Why don't both of them get taken out and having someone else come in? Maybe they probably should have brought back Chris Smalling.
I agree. I'm sat here in my Roma shirt, and I'm very happy that Roma did end up buying Chris Smalling, because that was a little fear for me. I did wonder if this idea of, well, Maguire's not playing well, Lindelof's not looking too good. As far as I'm concerned, this may be a bit of a hot take. Eric Bailly is either the best defender in the world, better than Van Dijk, better than whoever. When I watch him play, he does things that I think, the audacity to do that as a defender, like a beautiful challenge, beat a guy by turning and then just playing some pass. I think, wow. And then
he also has a tendency to do what he did against Tottenham.
And then on the other hand, like you just said, you've got this guy where you go, bro, what are you doing? What the hell is that? And I think it speaks to, I think he played like 20 games, senior games for Villarreal before Manchester United bought him. If Eric Bailly can get any sort of consistency, there's a ready-made replacement. But like you've just said, Phil Jones is out in the cold. Chris Smalling's just been sold. You're stuck with either Maguire or Lindelof. There's this kid who's coming through the youth ranks, and then there's who's the young Axel Tuanzebe as well. And I know that it's a classic thing of any football fan, like, well, our academy is really good, so he's going to be amazing. It's like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. So they need a centre-back. I think it's pretty crazy to say that you spend £80 million on a centre-back and then he may need replacing. But Harry Maguire could turn it around. I just don't know.